Hello, world. And ain't this world going crazy? Well, I got a lot to talk about today. I mean, I'm sitting there watching Trump last night, and I like Trump, don't get me wrong, but let me tell you something, Mr. President. You're going too fast. You're going too fast. You're trying to do too much at one time. And that's the stupidest idea I ever heard of going into Gaza and taking over Gaza. Don't you know the Arab people they ain't going to go along with that. It's just going to cause more wars and more chaos. I mean, I know the people. I've worked with the people. And I mean, even in Saudi Arabia, I've worked with people in the oil drill batteries. I know how they think. I know what they think. And I just can't believe you said that. You know, that's not. Let Israel handle it. Let Israel go in there and handle their own problem. We don't have to go in there. If they start attacking Israel, help Israel. But, I mean, don't go in there and cause a bunch of chaos. That's the craziest thing I ever heard in my life. To do something or say something like that, you're trying to take over Iceland or Greenland. I mean, you're trying to do too much at one time. You need to slow down. And, you know, you got the Democrats coming against you on everything you do. Deal with one thing at a time. Don't try to build them all up and you know, build all the problems up where you have to fight all the fires at one time. I don't get that. I just don't. And, you know, I'm looking at it in a way that most people would look at it, our people in the United States. We don't have no business over in Gaza. Let Israel send their soldiers in there and watch it and keep the Hamas out there. Let them take care of their problem. It's not our problem. Now, if Iran starts something with Israel, then I understand that, and I'll go along with that. But to go in there and try to take over Gaza, and the United States has no business trying to do that, because the Arabs will never accept that. Hamas, none of them will ever accept that. Let them deal with it. Let Israel deal with it. Let them go over there and put their soldiers in there and watch, you know, what's coming in, who's coming in, who's digging tunnels and all this kind of stuff. Let them handle it. That's what they should do. We don't need to be over there. Cause more conflict in the Middle East. We don't need that. And also, you know, these judges keep blocking the things that you're doing right now, Donald. And I'll call you Donald as a friend, and president. There's so many things that could be done in a manner that do them at a little at a time. The border, work on the border, work on the drugs, work on those things, and the tariffs, work on that. The tariffs with China, the tariffs with Canada, the tariffs with Mexico. But don't let them run over us. Don't let them walk all over us, but stand up to them. Quit sending money out just like you're planning, Elon Musk. Don't want to send money to a country that's going to waste it and not give it to the people. Put a stop to that. Put a stop to all that stuff. I hope you ain't got silence like I have. But it's just beginning to be too much. Now the transgenders playing in sports, that shouldn't be. It should be. If they want to play in sports, let them be transgender against transgender. Not ladies and games and, you know, sports that you don't belong there. You're still a man. You're not a woman, you ignorant. I don't get it, man. I just don't get it. How did you put a dress on and have you self-fix like a Frankenstein and then call yourself a woman? You'll always be a man. You'll never be a woman. You can cut it off, do whatever you want to, but it's still going to be up in your gut. I mean, you still are a man. Come on, man. As Biden said, come on, man.
I like what one person called it. They called it a permanent Halloween costume, and that's truly what it is, with no feeling or anything.
Halloween costume. They called it what now?
An expensive Halloween costume?
Oh, what? These transgenders?
Yes.
Well, now, you take Tyler Perry. I mean, the Bible says for a man not to put on a woman's garment or vice versa. But it's a different situation, but it's still wrong in God's sight. But he done it for entertainment. These people are doing it because they're screwed up in the head. Tyler Perry, he knows he ain't a woman. He does that as a character in a movie. You are not characters in the movies, you transgenders. You're not pretty. You're ugly. You're ugly to the human race because you're not what you want to be. You're ugly to God's sight. You're ugly to all the world that believes in a man and a woman. You're ugly. You're not pretty. Now you can decorate yourself like a Christmas tree, but you'll always be a man. You can do whatever you want to that body. You can get the doctor to shoot that silicone in your chest, whatever, up your rear end, whatever, down your throat, or up your nose, and you're still a man. You're not going to be nothing but a man. You can't be a woman. God created man and women. That's it. That's it. You can't be it. You can't change God, what God's created. You can't change the things that God has created. You can't take a tree and make a horse out of it, because God created it as a tree. He created the trees as trees. And you can't be a tree no more than you can be a man. That's a fact. That's the way I see it. Ain't that the way it is, Joe?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be a tree. No.
I'd rather be a tree in this world today. And I guess there's a lot of people out there who'd rather be a tree than a human being anymore, because the human being is going crazy. Human being has got the morals of a dog's got more morals than a human being now. It's a tree. I mean, you can't change this. Now, there's Elon Musk. He wants to go to Mars. Well, let him go by himself. We don't need to go up there and corrupt that place. We don't need to do that. I mean, if Russia's trying to get to Mars and we get there first, that's okay. There's civilization up there, and God don't want you to know about it. You'll never make it anyway. See, you're like the people. I mean, you try to mock God, but see, you're not God. I mean, the world's got to where they mock God. It's like the tower, Babylon. They try to build that tower up to heaven. God stopped it. I mean, you're trying to be things you're not. You're trying to change nature. You're trying to change the world to the way you want it to be. But see, God made it the way He wants it to be, and it ain't going to be no other way. And if He has to kill all of us, He'll do it. He's got the rights. He's the potter. We're the clay. And we can't be nothing else except what God has made us as a human being, a male and female. And your knowledge is foolishness to God. The Bible says that. Now, you take this TV station or your telephone or your iPhone on, that's great technology, but it's used. Some TV station use the broadcast It's an evil thing. But it's great technology to inform the world what's going on. And you could take the iPhone, it's a great technology for people, but we got a problem, me too, staying on that sucker too much, not letting our mind rest. I mean, now, we got another one of the engineers here. He's got an idea, and your people are going to love it when it works out. And he says it will, and I think I got confidence in him that it will. And you're going to enjoy it, but too much of it ain't going to be good for you. But we'd like for you to join in with us. You'll find out about it later. But we are too much wrapped up in ourselves today. Donald Trump, he's wrapped up in himself. I mean, he's going to go down in history as a great president. And to me, he is a great president, but he's going too fast. I like his ideas. I like the fact that we don't support the whole world and then get nothing back. I love that idea. It should have been done a long time ago with our politicians. Now, there's Robert Kennedy talking about the kickbacks to the politicians from the drug companies. I agree with him. I agree with him 100%. I think Robert Kennedy is on something great. And I'd like to see him in the position that's what he's trying to be and the administration with Donald Trump. I like what he's doing. I mean, I always had a little soft space for some of the Kennedys, not all of them. But, you know, they're Democrats, but they're old-fashioned Democrats. They ain't this new age of communist Democrats. See, Democrats now present themselves more like communists than they do for the people. As the old saying goes, hooray for me and the hell with you. That's the old saying, and that's the way they got it up in Washington. A lot of Republicans too. They're not exempt. You know, I invite a lot of politicians on this show. I won't embarrass them. I won't try to nail them to a cross, but I ask them questions and I'll tell them what I think. And they, you know, explain. It's like a preacher. A preacher gets up there and preach, and he says things that not in the Bible, and then you want to say, look, explain that to me. I want to know what you mean by saying that when I know it's not in the Bible, but am I hearing it wrong? I don't want to be a type of person that listens to someone and just see if I can find fault in them. I want to understand and I listen to them more before I make my decision. And Biden, when I made my decision to protest against what he done and what he was doing, I looked at the way it was turning out. And I'm looking at the way Donald Trump's doing, and it's turning out wrong. Now he's got blocked by a federal judge on the birthrights of the immigrants here in the United States. I'd have to look at that more before I made a decision, but I think anyone that come here 20 years ago, 15 years ago, and had settled down and got a nice home, working a job, paying their taxes, I said, give them a citizenship and let it go. Forget about it. Because there's no reason to destroy or interrupt a Spanish person that, or any race that comes here to the country and turns out to be a good American. They might not have their citizenship, but if they got the actions that you see as good, they don't need to be sent back to wherever they come from. If they're becoming They might not have a citizenship by paper, but they are American by doing what they do. I don't believe in drug dealers. I don't believe in none of these people coming over here that's bad for the country. I don't believe in the fentanyl. I don't believe in none of that stuff. And if it wasn't wrong to kill somebody, I mean, I think there's some, and it don't matter what you do here lately. People, they done set their mind to be a drug dealer. They'll be a good person. They done set their mind. It's like a guy told me, he was in the mafia, and he told me that these people, well, I heard him say it maybe, and he don't like drugs and stuff like that. He was talking about how that people kill themselves with drugs, and he hated it. I mean, he was sticking up for American people to get rid of the drugs and all the thing because he'd lost his sister in drug addict. His sister on account of drugs. No, we haven't done a show yet. We're working on it. His schedule is real built up, and he don't have time. We got an email from Dolly Parton yesterday. Said she was too busy, but she appreciated the offer. People like her, she's pretty busy all the time. And my friend that done some music for her one time up in Nashville, Neil James, he said most of it when Dolly Parton does a song or whatever, all the stuff's put on track, everything's put together. She comes in, does a song, they add it in because her time is very precious to her. And that's the way she does stuff. She don't have time maybe to do a show. And I told her we could do it virtual, but that's not what she can do right now. So maybe later on. And of course, we've talked to quite a few people that their time is very little to do shows, even virtual. And but we will keep trying to get some people. We got one coming up that might do a show, pretty popular, but they ain't said okay yet. Kid Rock was supposed to come and do a show when he got wrapped up. Well, he's going to do it virtual, and but everybody's running like to and fro trying to find peace, but they can't find it. We're all wrapped up in the world. I'm wrapped up in this. I'm wrapped up in other businesses. I'm wrapped up. And when we get too wrapped up, we forgot. And we're forgetting. Who gives us breath to breathe? If you don't believe in God, you will when you die. I mean, that's all there are to it. All the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, proves there's a God. It tells you the future, and you're seeing it now. In the last days, knowledge would increase. Well, in this day here, we have the knowledge that we never had before. I mean, you can have a little 5-year-old, 3-year-old kid now, sit down with an iPhone or an iPad, and they can outdo us old people any day by playing games, by doing different things. It's a fact because knowledge has increased. Our human brain. How do you take like the robots and all that stuff? Did you ever, you've seen it in movies. You never realize it'd be that. I mean, we never realized that our country would be so divided as it is now. And I think when we are trying to make things better, we should look at everything we're doing before we do it. It's like the TV station. You have the whole world, they can look at our show. We can go anywhere in the world if you've got a connection and have a virtual guest. We got all that technology. And there's no reason for people to be, desiring to do something to hurt others. We're a blessed world. Our world is blessed. There's a lot hungry. There's a lot doing that right now. But that could be solved if we didn't have the dictators, the crazy suckers that want to have power, the crazy suckers that has no mercy on human beings. That's the way God meant it to be, to love one another, treat everyone another right, like brothers and sisters. That's the way it was meant to be. But it's not that way. And I, today, have read so many things. I left my iPhone over here. But there's so many things that's going on right now needs to be slowed down. We don't need to be trying to take over other countries. If Iceland don't want us to,
Greenland.
I keep saying Iceland. If they don't want us up there, let's get us a big base. Build us a base up there. Let us have a base up there. Let them live their own life and put a base up there. If Canada don't want to come 51st state, leave it alone. Let them decide what they want to do. Don't force. Now, I agree with taking over the Panama Canal. I think that anybody would build something for billions of dollars and turn around and give it to somebody else about the stupidest thing I ever heard in my life. Knowing in the future it's going to cost us, and then knowing in the future it could cost us our country because allowing the wrong people be involved in the Panama Canal. I think it was now. I know Congress had to approve it when Jimmy Carter signed that over to them. I know that Congress had to approve it. So to me, we had a bunch of idiots in Congress when he done that too, right? They didn't look in the future. I mean, now I can say Donald Trump's looking at the future on some things, but some things are not right. To like building a base over and Gaza. I think those people should be able to build their own government, have their own government, do their own thing, and let Israel monitor them.
I don't think he was really saying it would be a base. I got the tone is, hey, this is going to be the next French Riviera. We're going to build a bunch of resorts here and Trump Towers and give everybody, all the Americans, a nice ocean front over here to go to.
Well,
they're going to tear it down.
Let them be invited. Let that be invited. Don't try to take it over and force it on. I'm for what's right. I don't care about no resort,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, money's going to go away. You're going to die and leave it on, man. What do you want to do that for? This is about lives and people over there. It ain't about resorts and hotels and stuff. This is about Palestinian lives. But I know the Palestinians let Hamas move in there, and that's why they had to pay the price. They let Hamas move in there instead of coming over to the United States, coming to Israel and said, look, Hamas is trying to force us to let them live over here. But see, they volunteered to do it. That's what makes me mad. And they complain because of war. Hamas started the whole stupid thing. And they also talking about doing it over. Same thing over. That's what I heard last night on the news. My co-host's going to have to start staying in the car, I reckon. But it's so disgusting to hear stuff like that. And I apologize. I think I'm going to have to start putting him in a cage. Hell, he's got ears like Superman. He hears everything that goes on. So we appreciate all of you people, and just stay with us and keep us on your dial. You know, if you're in Chattanooga, or Channel 398, we're looking maybe to expand. We're working, talking to other people and other networks, trying to join them. We were spreading out, and we got, now when you're watching our shows now, you can see the words being, I mean, when we do this show, air the show again on YouTube, you can watch like closed caption. You can read it. If you're an older person, and if you want to read it and say what we're saying, that'll be on there. And I want to work on the language thing so that we can translate our shows in Russian, Spanish, Ukraine. We have a lot of people in Russia that watches our show. One show got banned from Russia, but we have a lot of people. We got people in Ukraine that watches our show. We have people in North Carolina and all these that we can track, and we find out where they're watching us at. And I want you to tell all your friends, all your neighbors, to see how they like Talkin Live. And if they have a position that would benefit the public, benefit everybody in the public, then they want to do a show, let us know. That we want to hear from you. We want to know what you think about our show. We want you to give your opinion on what you see going on, where it's Donald Trump, Biden, whatever it may be. And we intend to make these shows more professional as we go along. I have so many things going on outside of the TV station that sometimes I don't have time to study some things. And I want to get more into detail about everything we do. And I'll say this to you, Donald Trump, stay out of Gaza. Let Israel handle their own problem. God bless.
The views and opinions expressed on all Talkin Live presentations are those of the host and their guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of the Talkin Live TV broadcast studio, or by this channel or its management.